stage. Away.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
All
sure.
right, all right, all right, all right, ladies and gentlemen, football lovers, welcome to the weekend extravaganza right here on Let's Argue. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what's the weekend extravaganza? Well, this is where we don't just review football; we decode it. This is where pressure meets performance, and where big teams either rise or get exposed. Because this weekend alone, red cards, title implications, derby drama, and absolute annihilations. And of course, we've got the flops, the props. No one is safe today. Let me bring in my football generals. Thibo, tactical brain, no nonsense analysis. What's up, dog?
Cheetahs Chef very much hands featuring the favorite stepfather Van Roy featuring Mood Engineer. Yeah, sure.
And then we've also got Roy, straight talker, zero filter. And we know him as the football truth teller. Roy, what's popping, brother?
Yeah. Look, we're not gonna sugarcoat anything today. It is what it is. Let's get it, guys.
All right, we jump straight into the Premier League. Obviously, I'm sure most of you were still trying to recover from what was an amazing UEFA Champions League week. But the weekend started off with Bournemouth and Man United. United dropped points again. And this one, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, self-inflicted. Thibo, what's your thoughts?
No, listen, structurally, this Man United side were fine in phases, but game management, I think in that regard, they were very poor. Now, you go ahead twice and you still don't close out the game. I don't know, man. That's like a lapse in concentration and leadership. But one thing that this Man United side will take from this game in particular, and I think what they've shown ever since Michael Carrick has taken over is this never say die attitude that they have adopted, almost like a mean streak. But they will be disappointed with the 2 points that they left on the table.
Roy, what's your thoughts?
Over and above structure, it was basically a mentality game. Maguire got sent off, and in a moment where you need composure and you need someone like him with a broad forehead, it's not bad luck. That's poor decision making.
Yeah, no, listen, and Bournemouth, they punished them, gentlemen, because if we just go back now, a crow piece penalty, you know what? I mean, I'm talking about high pressure. I'm talking about a penalty that was executed to the T perfectly. You can't ask for more than that.
No, definitely, the gentlemen. You know what? United, they're talented. We can see that, and Michael Carrick has got a nice oiled machine, but there's still instability there for them to make a title challenge next year, or for them to be guaranteed right now that they are making top four. And then Liverpool slipping at the business end, Thibo.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, gentlemen. You know, I think if you're Arne Slot, you're probably thinking that you're gonna put all your eggs in the Champions League basket, right? Because just based on the manner in which his side, approached the Premier League games, it's really not good. I mean, if we just talk about this game against Brighton and Hove, I mean, yes, physically, they look stretched, and the intensity is what actually defined them in this particular game, because it dropped so much that you were sure that they did not have any energy in their legs anymore.
Roy?
Yeah, Nia.
Yo, stepfather.
There goes that name, stepfather. Yeah. Yeah, Nia. If you look at the intensity, I spoke about it not so long ago. I said that, look, Liverpool needs to deliver and play with intensity and play with intent every game. I want to see more of this, but there was a drop in intensity and focus levels were out of the window. And that's where they just became an average team. And then you have this guy, Danny Welbeck, a 35-year-old, ran circles around Liverpool. I don't want to lie. That's basically experience exposing for vulnerability. And if you look at it, they also had James Milner, which is 40 years old, and he outplayed a lot of players. Yeah. It was disappointing.
Yeah, just on Danny Welbeck, I'm sure you've seen a player now who, when they are playing for a would-be big club, right? They actually, cannot find their footing. They cannot find their best level. Danny Welbeck, since he's been at Brighton and Hove, I don't know, man. He's almost a super player for them. But with
Mm.
that said, Brighton controlled the key phases in the game, and I think this was a well-deserved victory from them.
And then we go to our favorite team that loses so many times. Right now, it's 4 losses in a row. Whether you're counting Champions League, whether you're counting the league, or whether you're counting them coming out of the Carabao Cup a couple of weeks ago, Chelsea just do not seem like a team going anywhere. Roy?
Yeah, it was very painful to see. But let me be blunt, guys. Like that that display was a mess. They had no identity. They had no fight. There was no leadership, and it shows. I think Rhys James is injured. I don't know for how long. I don't know if I don't think he played. But then there was nobody that was taking charge, taking control, and said, "Look, let us show this guy. Look, we're doing this not only for ourselves, not only for a coach, not only for a club, but let us show our leader, our captain that look, there are future captains in the squad and nobody stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, it's difficult for people to step up to the plate when you still have Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk in the first 11. Because if we look at it from a tactical standpoint, they were very reactive instead of being proactive. And you know what? Now, Everton dictated every step of the game from start to finish, And this Chelsea side, you can definitely see that, this group of players with the right coach, or maybe with a manager that can win over the players, they can go as far as winning the Club World Cup. But then if you're going to bring in, a manager from grade 9, then things are not going to
Uh,
go well.
uh, oh man, Tibo, you just love this grade 9. And then Roy, what you think about the fans leaving early?
And it was disappointing, but they also had enough. They are very frustrated, and it's basically like, you know what, they have withdrawn themselves from the game completely, and it was, yeah, it's disappointing to see like the game is going on, and then first half already, people are leaving, and it's disappointing. But then the Blues also need to look at, you know what, we need to do better than this. We are better than this. We need to showcase our talent and performance. That's it.
What's good about it for me just shows you that money doesn't buy winning. Do you understand? Like you can buy the most expensive guys, you still need to assemble them. You can have
Yeah.
the Power Rangers, but you still need to make them wet. Go, Power Rangers. Anyway, we go to another team that truly is Power Rangers not finding their powers because 13 games without a W. Like, what's going on at Spurs? And they hire Tudo to improve this stat. Timo?
Yeah, gentlemen, it's crazy. This Igor Tudor acquisition, I think, is one of the worst we've seen in a very long time. You should just, see his press conferences, the things that he says in the press conferences. Oh my goodness, it's really out of this world. But listen, I think at Tottenham Hotspur, we're talking about a systematic failure from top to bottom, right? Defensive transitions are broken. There's no cohesion in the middle of the pitch. And the people who are playing up front are unable to connect with the people playing in the middle, and so on and so forth. It almost seems like the people or the personnel, when they take to the pitch, they don't know what they're supposed to do. And I think this is the most worrying thing about this Tottenham Hotspur side. And if things don't turn around, if they don't find a way to at least get a result or a W, as Lebza would so affectionately put it, then there's only one way that this Tottenham Hotspur are going, and that is the Coca-Cola Championship. Except Van Roy.
Yo, Roy, what you think?
So for me, they had no fight. They showed no fight. they had no pride, that sense of pride. You know what? These people are coming to us on our home turf. Let us show them what we are made of. Nothing more that I'm gonna say. Relegation is calling them. Just two losses. They're going to get relegated. That's it.
Yeah,
Thibaut, what do
listen,
you
you
think
know
about
what?
that?
Yeah, no, listen, you know what? This Nottingham Forest side, they didn't even need to be exceptional in this game. All they needed to do was just be organized, and it really didn't take a lot for them to crush this Tottenham Hotspur side. And you know what, Nem? Even if this Tottenham Hotspur side managed to survive relegation by hook or crook, right? I think at the end of the season there will be an exodus at Tottenham Hotspur. You know, a huge portion or a big chunk of the first team players are going to leave, and they're going to leave on a cheap because many players are going to submit transfer requests if this season
Mm.
is anything to go by.
Well, you know what? Newcastle are having a totally bad week, coming from a 7-2 loss and then some derby heartbreak to end off a weekend. Really not going well, Roy.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You cannot lose at home. You went played on a bigger stage in Europe. You lost horribly. You come back home and in front of your own fans, you just lose again. That's back to back. It is absolute nonsense. Period. That's it.
Thibaut?
Yeah, no, that's I definitely concur with that. You know, late game management again, you know, that's where the elite teams actually separate themselves from the rest. And I think Newcastle coming back from the demolition job that they experienced at the Camp Nou, I think in hindsight you would actually want them to show more bravado, you know. But you know, on the other tip of the scale, you know, maybe they're still hurting, you know, from that
Mm.
insatiable defeat at the Camp Nou, and maybe you know they needed a breather between the game at the Camp Nou and their next game in the Premier League. But this will definitely give them or help them catch a wake up call because there's still a lot to play for where this season is concerned.
Yeah, no, they definitely needed a game just to give them a break. But two teams that didn't get a break and had to jump in from Champions League round of 16 and directly into a final match, Arsenal versus City, to close off a Super Sunday of soccer. So Wembley definitely can be confirmed to belong to City yet again, gentlemen. Thibaut, what's your thought?
Yeah, no, listen. Manchester City control the space, they control the tempo, and listen. In terms of the physicality of this game, I think Manchester City were up for it much more than their Arsenal counterparts. Arsenal, on the other hand, they never really imposed themselves on the game, and I think I think this was a very much refreshing, you know, from a neutral standpoint, because if we've followed this Arsenal side for the longest time, then we know that
Mm.
they're actually not good at anything. You know, they're not good at playing a possession type of game. They're not good at counter attacking. You know, they're only good at not even set pieces, corner kicks. Honestly speaking, and if you are Mikel Arteta, right? I think this was a litmus test that you can, without a shadow of a doubt, say that you failed because some like the first team of this Arsenal side honestly did not make sense. What was Kai Havertz doing playing as a number 10 when all along you've been using him as a number 9? Okay, cool. You're gonna play him behind Victor Gyökeres. You know,
Mm.
Gabriel Martinelli. You know, in terms of form, I think, or maybe in terms of what he has done this season, Gabriel Martinelli definitely deserved to start this game. You could have
Mm.
easily put Leandro Trossard as a number 10. But you know, without going too hard on Arsenal, I think they really were not up for this game. And in terms of Mikel Arteta, this was an absolute disaster.
Yo, Roy, what did you think?
Um, on my side, the blueprint is already there, and the pattern is actually showing. Arsenal basically showed up with belief and left with disappointment and regret. this is time and time again that this is actually happening to them. But yeah, O'Reilly was a nightmare.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm telling you, Charlie. Yeah, but no, you know what? I really need to put this out there because I don't want it to seem like there's a bias for Manchester City. Nico O'Reilly, yes, was decisive. Nico O'Reilly, yes, was clinical. This was a big game temperament. But Nico O'Reilly is not a threat, man. Nico O'Reilly is not that kind of player, that will make the opposition shiver in their boots. So, irrespective of the mistakes that Kepa Arrizabalaga, made, for the goals that came from this Manchester City side, I really, if I'm a Ghana, I'll really be disappointed that Nico O'Reilly was the guy, to plunge the dagger in our hearts in this cup final.
Yo, Roy.
Yeah, if you look at what Pep is actually doing, this boy Nico O'Reilly, he played as a attacking midfielder in the academy, and now he's playing at the back line. He shows that look, he's building a machine. He's building a machine that can operate on its own without any intervention, and he's building it from a very very young age. So I give props to Pep for that one.
So yesterday I watched the City versus Arsenal match, and then I prayed that Real Madrid lose at night. So when I woke up, the first thing I did was to run and look at my watch and look at my phone and go to ESPN FC, and I just see with the headline, Real Madrid win it, and I'm like, now I have to hear them talk about Madrid. So yeah, the derby definitely delivered fireworks, but it wasn't the fireworks that I would have loved to see. Thibaut, I know you were watching this match. You probably even watched the replay. You probably even chose the highlights. You probably can't stop repeating it. What did you think?
Yeah, let me tell you what I thought. What I thought was that Vinicius Jr. excuse me, Vinicius Jr. has found his best level at the perfect moment in the season. And I think he was absolutely decisive in transitional moments in this game. And this is elite level output. And kudos must go also to Federico Valverde, because during the Xabi Alonso tenure, he was one of the people who were exceptionally up form, But kudos also needs to go to Alvaro Arbeloa, because since taking over, not only has he been able to find a balance within the group, right? He has been able to manage the crises that have come through week in, week out, injuries. I mean, he's given opportunities to some youngsters that make Pedri look like, a little schoolboy. And you know what? I think kudos really needs to be given to Alvaro Arbeloa for being able to galvanize the group and get the team firing on all cylinders. Coming into the penultimate stage of the season, I think there's 9 games left. It's going to go right down to the wire.
Roy, your objective view.
I think big players step up in big games, and it's that simple. Vinny once again showed up and he made a difference, and that's all that actually matters.
Oh yeah. Then we got Barcelona that took on Rayo Vallecano, a Madrid side. Thibaut, I know you watch this as hate watch, but our favorite defender decided to win the match for us. What's your thought?
Ronald Araujo.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Araujo. Gentlemen, listen. Barcelona just put on a controlled performance in this matchup. Champion score, as we would affectionately call it in South Africa. Not very flashy, but very effective. I think this was absolutely needed from Ronald Araujo, taking into account that he went all the way there to, where did he go? Was it Palestine? Where did he go to go pray? only to come back and cost Barcelona game. So I think
Mm.
he needed this goal more than ever in his career. And 3 points from Barcelona, you can't ask for more than that.
Roy?
So title winning teams grind out the results. I also would like to give props to the goalkeeper because he made quite a number of good saves, crucial saves that could
Mm-hmm.
have actually had them draw or even lose that match. But because of the goalkeeper as well, they played very, very well. It was a combined effort, and yeah, Barcelona came out on top in that match.
No, you're right. You always have to thank the goalkeeper. I just can't imagine how we survived the era with Victor
Yeah.
Valdez. But hey, this match right here was probably the comeback of the weekend. Roy, start us off, man. Celta Vigo
So
versus Alaves.
So Celta Vigo was 3 up and then they still lost. Yeah, that's very disappointing. Like you mean to say that after the first goal or the second goal, you're not panicking, or you know what? Let's put our heads together and see what we can do to actually close off the back line. Make sure that we build a brick wall there, the back, so that another goal doesn't go in. For me, that was unacceptable. You cannot be 3-0 up and then still lose. It's horrible.
Yeah, no,
Tibo?
listen, Alaves showed a resilience and tactical bravery to keep pushing despite being 3-0 down. I think this is definitely one of the greatest comebacks of this season in particular, because this is not something that you see very often. After 37 minutes, Celta de Vigo were 3 goals up, and how they managed to bottle this game is beyond me. You know what? Not even Arsenal could do a bottling job like this.
We move
Aye.
right into Ligue 1, where we check out PSG, who gave a footballing lesson to Nice. Tibo?
Yeah, gentlemen, this was a complete, advertisement in dominance on the pitch, both structurally and individually. This was so bad that there's a moment when Luis Enrique was actually giving tactical advice to Mayulu on the touchline, right? And there's a player for Nice who was actually man marking Mayulu. He actually went, like, he followed Mayulu, to the touchline and literally eavesdropped their conversation, and still managed, to be part of the team that conceded 4 goals. Hi guys, you can't write a script like that.
Yo, Roy?
So in this match, with the 4-0 victory for PSG, it goes to show that when PSG are really, really focused, no one in that league comes out alive when they actually face them. And it is what it
Yep.
is. It's a big score. It's a big result for them.
Yeah, they are in their Bayern Munich form, where then they just trailblaze
Farming.
the no one
They are
challenges
farming
them. And I
points.
think it's the right time for them to try open gaps at the top, so that when the Champions League gets to this penultimate stage, then they are actually free to make mistakes in the league, where you can
Yeah.
drop 3 points here, a point there. We move on to Monaco, who's been playing quite well of recent, Thibaut, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, since they decided to make a change in the managerial division right there, or in the managerial position, they have seen an upturn in form. Positive results have been coming their way. And listen, momentum is everything. 6 wins in a row in League On. Like, you can't ask for more than that.
Oh, yeah. Roy?
So in this match, Monaco played very, very well. They won that match 2-1. Big ups to them. You can't say that they are chasing the log leaders anymore. They are basically competing.
They definitely are. Like, Monaco is actually now becoming a serious team. But I think next season will be the time where we can judge them, eh, Tibo? Maybe that's when we
Yeah,
give them
no,
a chance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you. But I think everything will be dependent on how they finish this season, because right now they're fighting tooth and nail for European qualification for next season, right? And
Yeah.
of course, I think from a neutral standpoint, anyone maybe who was a fan of the first version of Paul Pogba at Juventus will be hoping that he can find his fitness, stay healthy, and hopefully we can see some of the magic once again.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So look, for me, I'm thinking the Serie A is now trying to get hotter than anything else because now AC Milan, after I lost last week, they are back winning it 3-2 versus Torino. Tibo?
Yeah, listen, game intelligence in the second half won the game for them. And this was an all-out brawl, five goal thriller. AC Milan did anything and everything to get the result, and you can't ask for more than that. I think once everything is said and done, it really must be said that the influence of Luka Modric on this side has been nothing short of exemplary because they are there in the title race, even though there is a big points gap. You really can be pleased by this showing from this AC Milan side, except Van Roy. Hey, Van Roy.
Yo, Van Roy, what's your thoughts, dog?
My thoughts are they basically showing a title chasing mentality, and that's character, and you cannot put a price on that.
No, you definitely cannot put a price on that. And then look, Fiorentina. Hey, I was actually looking at an old kid by Fiorentina. You know when what's his name used to play for them?
Gabriel Batistuta.
Batistuta, when having long hair was still the thing. I'm sure you also had locks. I must look for an old picture of yours.
I know I didn't, Fan. I didn't.
Not at all.
I was always Arkeli. I was always on my Arkeli team. Got you score.
Michael Jordan. All right. No, look, Fiorentina 1-1 versus Inter. This does disturb Inter a bit. What you think, Betibo?
No, listen, Inter dropped the intensity after scoring very early, but I think the points gap between them and second place AC Milan, is a buffer for them to have moments like this, when they are not firing on all cylinders, but they can still at least, have that buffer between themselves and whoever is in second place. So they will be disappointed with 2 points left on the table once again, but they will be glad that at least this did not turn out into 3 points lost.
Yeah, what you think there, Roy, in terms of Inter?
I think they definitely dropped in the intensity and game of play, and they basically let Fiorentina come back into the game. And once you do that, either you're gonna draw or you're gonna lose the game. And it's just that Fiorentina wasn't that sharp and clinical. They could have actually gotten away with it 3 points. But yeah, it is what it is. One moment of lapse concentration, it gets you a draw.
And imagine the whole of Italy was watching the Champions League last week. None of them are participating.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just like South Africa. They could just say, even the South Africans were sitting watching the Champions League, like the Italians. Anyway, Fabregas. Fabregas is doing too much. Actually, we're thinking we need to give him a bigger team just so that we can see how he's getting these 5
Yeah.
meals. Like, he needs a promotion, but he doesn't need an Everton. He doesn't need a Crystal Palace. He needs to go to Spain where he can field players that know how to pass the ball, or he must go to Juventus or AC Milan, something bigger. Because maybe with the bigger budget, there's no budgets in Italy. Like, really, where is he going to get? He must maybe just go coach in Spain, go grab like a Sevilla and move it from the bottom, and get as much money as possible. But yeah, 5-0 versus Pisa. Timo, what can you say about this guy?
Attacking fluidity is what I can tell you, Lebza, about this Cesc Fabregas side. Excellent movement in between the lines. I think they are just a marvel to watch. And again, this is a fairy tale storyline where we could see this Como side, participate in the Champions League next season. You know, we had goals from Baturina, we had goals from Nico Paz, we had goals from Tassos Duvikas, we had goals from so many players like Maximo Peroni, and you know, just I think just from an aesthetic point of view, it's very much you know, exciting to actually watch this Como team as they dismantle the opposition, as they score goals, as they control the game from start to finish. Except Android.
Roy, what's your thought, man?
Yeah, look, 5 goals is a statement, but 5 goals and no reply. Just like Thibaut actually said, it's attacking fluidity. They're showing Bruce Lee vibes. You know that when he said "be like water," that's what they showcased.
Almost
Eva
definitely.
Fit, Eva
Yes,
Fit,
sir.
Eva Fit. In the words of Mendoza, RDP to Chuck Norris, man. Hey.
Ah, dude, Chuck Norris, brother. You know, but
Aish,
obviously Chuck Norris did not pass away. He just decided to visit what you call death. You know, this guy is amazing, and we grew
R.I.P.
up
to
on
the
Chuck
legend.
Norris, man. And you know what's happening? All of our idols are gonna start dying soon, guys. We'll be crying soon because all of our idols, you know, Van Damme, Chuck Norris, like imagine. Anyway, look,
Yeah.
the PSL also gave some spinning round kicks of their own. First of all, Kaiser Chiefs look like they are now building momentum. Having 2 victories in a row is actually something amazing for them. Tibo, what you seeing?
Yeah, no, listen, youth integration is actually working for the Amakosi, and the structure looks much better than what we've seen in weeks gone by. And I think for the Amakosi faithful, they will take these positive results, you know, and hopefully they can continue in this vein and produce more results like this.
Roy, what did you think of Chiefs winning?
So they are finally playing with purpose. They're not playing as you know that Kaiser Chiefs that will be 2-0 up and then still second half. At the end of second half, final whistle, they lose the game 3-2. They finally moving with purpose. They're playing with purpose. They're playing with intent, and that got them the 3 points.
And then Pirates went ahead and spanked 6 goals to a very disappointed and disappointing TX Galaxy. That's a statement win. Hey, Roy?
Yeah, it's a big statement win. They showed that they were ruthless in that match, and that's like a shark smelling blood in water. And they went in for the kill, not one, not two, not three, not four, not but 6 goals with no reply. I salute them for that.
Tibo, what did you think of your youngster?
Ah, Mufukeng, last number, gentlemen. Exceptional movement and composure from this young gentleman. You know what? If Orlando Pirates continue in this vein, they just might snatch the Premier
I'm
League title
second.
from Mamelodi Sundowns. Never. The title is coming back to Orlando, Baba. Title is coming back to Orlando.
Bruh, you're going to be bridesmaid. Tibo, where are they currently on the log?
They're first with 1 point difference between Mamelodi Sundowns. But Mamelodi Sundowns have a game in hand.
So, Roy, what are your thoughts on this now?
Um, Pirates are at the top of the table. They going to apply pressure, but also the pressure is on them as well. Sundowns will play with everything they've got just to regain the top spot and to keep the top spot. It's going to be a back and forth battle between the two.
Then Sundowns qualified, guys, for the next round of the CAF Champions League. Tibo, how does that make you feel knowing you have a star from back then, before stars were stars?
It really doesn't do anything, Lebza, to be honest, you know, because I think, you know, the most important thing is to continue winning. And, you know, we haven't won a star in the longest time now. So I think that one that we have has gathered a lot of dust, but we still have one star more than Kaiser Chiefs, and that's something at least you can you know take refuge from that. But if we're just talking about this game from Mamelodi Sundowns, this was game management 101. Over two legs, they did everything that they needed to get through to the next round. They scored 3 goals when they hosted at home. And the second leg, I think, was a very tricky affair because a player even got sent off early on in the game. So they really needed to park the bus, absorb the pressure, and basically just survive. And I think in the end, this is what matters most.
Oh yeah, Roy, what did you think, brother?
So yeah, that match was basically ugly, but then also effective. They got the semi-final secured for them. So big ups to Mamelodi Sundowns.
Oh yeah, we get into the flop and the prop of the week. So, Roy, no bias, just truth.
All right, coming at you guys in first place, it's Arteta. They showed technically they were second best again, yet again to Manchester City. Second place is Liverpool. They were physical, but in mentality, they basically threw it out of the window. Um, then in third place is Chelsea. Complete collapse. They walked away with 0 points. Then you have Spurs. Relegation is calling. For me, I am giving flops of the week to Arteta because yet again it could have been a trophy that they could have secured, but then yeah, they just gave it away. I don't know about you, Lebza. What do you think is your flop of the week?
Arteta was going to get my prop of the week for doing what he did. But you know what? I think I'd like to put two peas in a pod. Chelsea and Spurs. They deserve to be the flops together. Basically, since flip flops don't come in one, you get them in pairs. I think Chelsea and Arsenal are what you call a Hawaiian flip flop because really, how do you disappoint the whole of England by getting knocked out of the Champions League and then come back home and still disappoint your fans further? Like, yeah. Thibaut, which one are you on?
Yeah, you know what, gentlemen, I would love to say Tottenham Hotspur, but I think Tottenham Hotspur, they failed dismally when they let go of Ange Postecoglou. So I think this has become like my favorite pet peeve. Chelsea, Chelsea are in complete ruins, gentlemen, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna get better. It doesn't seem like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And if they continue with Liam Rosina, there will also be an exodus at Stamford Bridge at the end of the season. Mark my words.
So you just
Now,
don't like Chelsea?
no, it's not that I don't like Chelsea, but I feel like I think Chelsea are my favorite underdog. If not underdog, they're like my favorite villain because Chelsea, um, they are at their most dangerous, right? When they are the underdog. So when Chelsea, they are not consistent. They won't, be winning the Premier League every season or be challenging for the Premier League every season. They won't be winning the Champions League or any of the continental competitions consistently, right? But when they find themselves in the end zone, right, with the opposition, playing way better than they are on paper, they always find a way to win. And you know what? This is what I love the most about Chelsea. I don't think there's anything that they can do to shake that off. But with that said, can we move on then to the props of the week, gentlemen, without any waste of time? First and foremost, we have Manchester City, who are the serial winners and were relentless in this cup final, followed by Mamelodi Sundowns winning without winning. This will probably be their best defeat in all competitions in a very long time. In third place, we have Orlando Pirates. This was a destructive performance where they scored 6 goals without reply and completely humiliating the opposition. And lastly, we have Real Madrid stepping up when it matters the most. Lebza,
I select City. I was happy that I won the cup, man. I felt good, man. So that's my prop. And then Real Madrid disappointed me this morning, so that's a flop. But anyway, Man City prop.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Sundowns. Winning without winning. They basically show their team that look, just because you're winning this match, you're right where I want you to be. Boom, in a losing position. So yeah, I give my prop of the week for Mamelodi Sundowns.
We should have
gentlemen. Yeah, gentlemen, my prop of the week is going to Real Madrid without a shadow of a doubt. This is not me being biased. This is me just acknowledging the influence that Alvaro Arbeloa has had since taking over. How do you guys get outclassed by Pitage? You know, how do you guys get outclassed? You know, by juniors. You know, by kids from La Fabrica. Like you normally, get an insatiable amount of glazing if this was a player from La Masia. But you know what, Alvaro Arbeloa has managed to keep things going, keep things ticking, irrespective of Kylian Mbappe being injured, irrespective of not having Jude Bellingham, irrespective of not having Rodrigo. No, listen, Real Madrid.
Do you see what the secret is? The last two big buys are actually the reason you guys weren't winning. Now you guys are winning because the 2 big buys that you bought, Bellingham and whatnot, are out. Now this is the Champions League side.
You can't say that.
Champions League. The only player that's missing is Toni Kroos. The only player that's missing now is Toni Kroos.
But Kroos retired, bro.
But no, that's what I'm saying. That this is the exact same team that won the Champions League before Mbappe came, before Bellingham also came.
Lebza, if I were you, I would watch my words. Because you say one wrong thing, I'll win another Champions League.
Well, go ahead and try. But this year, it's impossible for you to do so. La Liga is already done. You know it. We know how to run the marathon. Maybe this is your type of Junior and I going to sprint. And then we're going to see Vinicius Jr. not on form at the World Cup because he did everything for Real Madrid. Anyway, ladies, gentlemen, football lovers, football doesn't lie, it just reveals. And this weekend, man, some teams showed resilience and others showed cracks. Others actually were the crack, aka TS Galaxy. But the question is, heading into the final stretch of all the leagues, even the Champions League, who has the mentality? Who has the structure? Who is just holding on and surviving? Well, from myself, Timo, any last words?
From my side, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in for another great installment of Let's Argue. From everyone's favorite stepfather, Yapa Van Roy, featuring the Mood Engineer. Thank you and good night.
Roy.
Yeah, on my side, I just want to see how long can the survivors survive in all competitions. And it's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be electrifying football. And yeah, just can't wait to see that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Let's argue again on Friday. Good night. Good night.
Shop.
Wait.
Champion badge and getting battered 8-2. If last season I was saying it that we don't deserve to be in Champions League. We don't deserve to be in Champions League. We don't have the quality to be in Champions League. Look at the result today. We lack quality. We lack defensive mindset. We lack the connection. Nothing is working out from the defense line, bro. It's terrible. Look at the way we considered goal. PSG is far away. It's far ahead of us, bro. PSG is far away. We don't have any quality in that game, and I'm saying this, bro. If something doesn't change, now you see the quality of Caicedo is dropping massively. So this is going to affect a lot of players in Chelsea FC, because now you can see that there's nothing in that dressing room. The dressing room is dead. Nothing in that dressing room, nothing is working out, bro. Because that's what you get when you sack a manager that's won 2 trophies for you, to get someone that's got nothing on his CV. That's what you're going to get. That sort of performance. And next game, you've got to keep Delap in the dressing room to watch the game, because this guy is a useless player. Muyulu came in and scored a quality goal. Half chance, he scored a quality goal. Your striker is there, missing chances, kicking balls like he's kicking puff puff. In my own language.